Award in the world of sport. For me, it's an honor to be here in front of the best sportsman and the sportswoman of the world.
After winning the biggest trophy in North American sport on Sunday, the new Super Bowl champions Green Bay Packers have arrived to a home heroes welcome. Thousands of fans turned out to greet the returning players after the 31-25 victory over the Pittsburgh Steelers. It was the Packers' 13th NFL championship and 4th Super Bowl title. The quarterback, Aaron Rodgers, however, wasn't with the team. He was accepting his Most Valuable Player award and afterwards headed to the traditional post-bowl procession at Disney World, something he wasn't sure he was ever going to experience.
That's kind of been my career there, is just the journey of waiting for an opportunity and making the most of it. High school, junior college, Division I, being a backup, you know, getting overlooked on draft day, 3 years as a backup. Finally getting an opportunity, I knew I had to make the most of it. And this was another opportunity last night that they don't come around that often. So just wanted to make the most of it. We did as a team.
And in cycling, three-time Tour of Qatar winner Tom Boonen took the honours in the opening stage of the year's race on Monday. In windy conditions, Boonen prevailed in the sprint finish to win the stage from Heinrich Hussler. It was the 18th stage win for Boonen on the Tour. The Belgian happy to return to winning ways after an injury-hit 2010 season.
Thank you.
And less than 2 weeks before the start of cricket's World Cup, Australian duo Mike Hussey and Nathan Horwitz have been officially ruled out through injury. Veteran batsman Hussey tore his hamstring in the one-day series against England in Melbourne. He'll likely be replaced by Colin Ferguson in the 15-man squad. Spinner Horwitz has dislocated his shoulder in the Test series also against England. His replacement will be Jason Kreuzer. Australia opened their World Cup campaign against Zimbabwe on the 21st of February. That's it for me. Come on.
Cool. Sana, thank you so much for that. Let's take you back to Egypt now. The protesters, thousands of them, back out again in Tahrir Square, Liberation Square. Described it before earlier as almost a tent city. This is the second phase, if you like, of the protests after the violence and the unrest which marked the first few weeks of this uprising. Now we're looking at a long-haul sit-in, trying to get rid of President Mubarak. We've heard from Vice President Omar Suleiman in the last hour or so, who has said that there will be constitutional changes and a steering committee. Probably not enough, though, for those thousands of people out in Tahrir Square. Well, a lot of the world's past conflicts have inspired protest songs to reflect the spirit of resistance, if you like. Egypt has got its own now. Inspired by the resilience of the demonstrators, several notable musicians from North America have teamed up to release a rap song, and this is it.
I heard them say the revolution won't be televised. Al Jazeera proved them wrong. Twitter has them paralyzed. 80 million strong and ain't no longer gonna be terrorized. Organized, mobilized, vocalized. On the side of truth, from Junior's living proof that it's a matter of time for the chickens home to roost. Bouazizi lit the hoof, and it slowly ignited.
And one of the artists is with me in the studio, Omar Offendum. Nice to have you with us. How are you?
Thank you for having me.
You know, you got me with the first line, or the second line, when you said, what was it, Al Jazeera proved them wrong, Twitter has the...
Yeah, they say the revolution won't be televised. Al Jazeera proved them wrong, Twitter has them paralyzed. And it's basically just a play on a famous song that came out, you know, in the 70s about the revolution not being televised by Gil Scott-Heron. And us being glued to our televisions and to the internet, watching the events on Al Jazeera and on Twitter, you know.
When you say us, who's us?
Us who are, you know, not in the region, who don't have the good fortune of watching it on cable TV or on our televisions, you know, in the United States, essentially, North America. So we've had to be online and watch it and get the amazing coverage that Al Jazeera has been doing of the events, you know, are all we really have to get the real essence of the story.
Who's this aimed at?
This is aimed, first and foremost, as a song of solidarity with the Egyptian people who've inspired us, you know, with their incredible resolve these past few weeks. And of course, to open it up to an audience in the United States who perhaps doesn't think they have anything to do with the events in Egypt, by getting notable rappers from the US to speak on this issue, hopefully will make them realize that it does affect them.
And what was it, how did you go about getting those notable names? Because, let's face it, Egypt is very far removed from the United States. Are these people of Egyptian descent, of Arab descent, or...?
Well, A mix of both. You know, there are African Americans on the song, there are Arab Americans and Canadians on the song. But honestly, it's just about the spirit of resistance, and that's something that hip-hop, as an art form and as a culture, has always embodied. And so it's not so foreign to be able to do that in a hip-hop song.
The fact that you're here talking to me about it suggests this is getting big. You've posted it on YouTube, I guess, your Facebooks. I mean, the social networking which you talk about is probably going to play a huge role in making it a success, getting out to the people.
Hopefully, and that's really the point of it. You know, we're not really doing this to get fame out of it. We're doing this because we want to show, once again, the solidarity with the Egyptian people. You know, as best we can. You know, since we're not there on the ground in Egypt, this is the best we could do. You know,
go on. I'm sure
I have to say, it's not my favorite song of the revolution. Some of the songs coming out of Tahrir Square have been incredible, and they're really, really the ones who inspire us.
You mean like more traditional style stuff that's coming out of there?
More traditional style stuff. You know, the Egyptian culture and Egyptian people have just an incredibly, you know, talented way of expressing themselves. They always have, and so that is definitely something that's been happening in this revolution as well.
Cool. You say you're not doing it for fame, but there's a video, obviously. We're playing it now. It'll be on YouTube. Are you getting good response to it? I mean,
well, the video that they're showing now actually is just one of my own videos, but the video for the song that we're talking about has a mashup of footage from Al Jazeera. So yeah, it's really just about getting this idea out that it's a universal struggle for human rights that we really want to just kind of align ourselves with and let the people of Egypt know that we're a part of.
And I was going to say, why rap music? You're a rapper, that's why. But do you think that rap music resonates with the younger? It's a good way of getting a message out now today.
Well, absolutely. I mean, rap is a very direct way of doing that. 60% of the population, if not more, in the Middle East is under 30, and rap is a youth culture that has made its way around the globe, and so it's very, very powerful. And rap, like I said, is a very direct way of getting your point across. And it's poetry at the end of the day, in my opinion, and that's something that Arab culture can definitely associate itself with.
Good talking to you, Omar. Really interesting, and thank you for that, for coming in.
Thank you for having some of your music. And thank you to Al Jazeera for the amazing coverage once again, really.
I will say thank you on behalf of the channel there. Thank you. So yeah, talking rap there, talking a protest song, a resistance song, if you like. The reason that type of thing is coming out is because of this. All the thousands of people who are back out in Liberation Square. They're calling for another huge protest, another huge strike. They're starting to get some movement from the government. Vice President Omar Suleiman, he has said there will be constitutional reform, that a presidential decree has come down, and that there will be a steering committee to guide Egypt through this next phase. But as I said before, you'd suggest that the thousands of people out there want nothing more than President Hosni Mubarak gone. We're back in a few minutes with the latest from Egypt. Plus more from Moscow. The Moscow airport bombing, a Chechen rebel leader promising a year of tears for Russia. That's still to come.
On the next Riz Khan show, we discuss the fear of regional contagion as leaders in Syria, Jordan and Yemen make preemptive changes to avoid similar uprisings. Riz Khan, at this time on Al Jazeera.
As Washington's allies stumble, one after the other, exposed, losing control and influence, powerless in the face of the people's power, we ask, is this the dawn of a new Middle East? Empire at this time on Al Jazeera.
Just gone 1100 hours GMT, 2 p.m. here in Doha. This is Al Jazeera. I'm Kamal Santa Maria with all your top stories. Demonstrators in Cairo's Tahrir Square are now gearing up for more mass rallies on Tuesday. They are vowing they will continue their sit-in until President Mubarak steps down. That is despite the government offering a large pay rise to 6 million public sector workers. An activist whose Facebook page inspired Egypt's uprising has been freed by authorities in Cairo. Wael Ghanim was detained 12 days ago during an anti-government rally. Well, also in the last hour and a half, we've heard from Vice President Omar Suleiman, who's appeared on Egyptian state television announcing the president is setting up a committee to amend the constitution. He also stressed that demonstrators will not be prosecuted. Have a listen.
Today, the President signed a presidential decree for the formation of the Constitutional Committee to carry out necessary amendments to the Constitution and the parallel legislative amendments. He also instructed the Prime Minister to form the steering committee to follow up with the precise implementation of the agreements reached by the parties to the national dialogue, and a third fact-finding committee on the incidents and clashes of Wednesday last, and to refer the outcomes to the Chief Prosecutor to take necessary actions.
So it's some movement from